Alex, how you doing, kid?
Good. Thanks for having me, guys.
First of all, your thoughts on what's been reported on Brandon Aiyuk. Where do you think we are with that?
It almost feels kind of NBA-ish trade to me, where like a player's trying to get himself traded to a certain team. The Steelers keep popping up, and then it's reported they're not really in, and I wonder if the Niners want more teams to offer more. But from that report last night, it sounds like the Patriots are squarely in the mix.
And should they be?
If the price is right, and what was described last night seems like the price was right, one pick, I would imagine that's not the first-round pick, so second-round pick, Kendrick Bourne, you throw in a day 3, a future day 2. If that's the price it takes to get him, then yes, absolutely.
And what would you pay him? Would you pay him top of the market? You think he's a top 10 receiver?
I wouldn't pay him top of the market. I'm not giving him the Justin Jefferson contract, but I would make him a top 10 paid receiver in the league.
Okay. If Mazz says he's overrated, how do you respond to that?
I think the big concern with Aiyuk that I have is he's been in an offense where he's never gotten the full attention of a defense, because when you have McCaffrey, when you have Kittle, when you have Deebo Samuel, when he's healthy, nobody's going to get paid the full attention. Obviously, if he comes here, that's going to be very different. Now, you watch what he does just on his own in a bubble, and he looks like the kind of guy that has the ability to still win when coverage is dictated towards him, but it's going to be an adjustment, and that's a real question. If you're making this trade, you'd better be confident that those skills are going to translate.
Does he do some of the things that Samuel can do? Can he line up in the backfield? Is he a strong? He feels like a strong runner. He feels like a beast with the ball in his hands. He feels physical. I don't know if it feels that way to me. Can he approximate some of those things? And do you think they're interested in some of those things?
Yeah, he can definitely line up in the backfield. Obviously, he doesn't do it a lot because they have Deebo Samuel, so he's able to handle most of those responsibilities. But he has the shiftiness in the open field. He's built big enough to take the hits that he should be able to do that if they wanted him to.
See, I don't feel like he is that kind of guy, Alex. I look at him as, if you were to say to me, well, let me ask you the question. Depth chart at wide receiver, San Francisco, give it to me.
Aiyuk's their number one true receiver because Deebo's not a true receiver. Deebo's kind of a hybrid running back receiver. Aiyuk's not that close to being a dual threat, multi-positional kind of player, but if you're trading for him to be your number one wide receiver, you don't necessarily want him to be that guy. That's why a big part of the reason the Niners are in the position they're in. Deebo's immensely talented. He was their number one option, and they ran him into the ground. And he's only 28, but he can't stay healthy because he's taken all of these hits. So I guess he's technically their number two receiver, but they run that thing really weird.
Final question on it. And as a draft guy, I think this is for you. And to me, the big argument against it is that there's so many good receivers that come out every year in the draft. It feels like every year there's more and more of those guys. The way the sport's being played at the youth level, the 7-on-7, but we've been over this a million times, right? That if you can find an absolute physical force of nature like DK Metcalf in the second round, never mind guys who Tyreek Hill in the fourth, whatever. Why would you ever spend that kind of money on one guy when you should be able to draft it?
Because as an organization, and it's a new staff, as an organization, you've struggled to do that. And you essentially get to skip those steps, and you don't have the level of uncertainty that comes with it. Now, you mentioned DK Metcalf. I would say, if you want to push back on this trade, these guys become available all the time. DK Metcalf's going to need a new contract next year. CeeDee Lamb's going to need a new contract next year. Terry McLaurin's going to need a new contract this year. Do you make the move now, or do you wait a year when you have a little more certainty when you're at and make the same trade next year for, I'd argue Metcalf's a better receiver. That, to me, is the real question. Drafting a guy, I see that argument, but you kind of want a little more of a sure thing if you can get it.
Okay, Alex, how did Drake Maye look today? Again, on the station, I think we had a couple sportsgasms over a couple of his throws at least, but how did he look today overall?
I thought he looked good. The word I kept going back to was comfortable. It was the first day he's really looked comfortable. I felt like he was able to get in a rhythm. There's a few reasons for that. One, he had a lot more time to throw. They moved the offensive lines around a little bit. He had better protection today, and especially in the red zone, he was just seeing the field really well. He was delivering the ball on time. He was putting it in the right spot. He did struggle at the end of practice in a 1-minute drill kind of thing. He went 3 and out, but before that, I was ready to say was his best practice at camp.
Yeah, so I'd seen, Alex, that this 2-minute drill, 1-minute drill, whatever you want to call it, was kind of ugly. Yeah. Was it all on him? Were there drops? What was the issue there?
It was a little bit of both. So there was one where it was an interception. He tried to hit Javon Baker on an out route in a tight window, and they were on the opposite side of the field. So it was a little tough to tell if the ball hit off Baker's hands or if the defender got a hand on it. It popped right up in the air, and Marcellus Dye was able to pick it off. I don't question the throw so much as I question the decision. There was another play where they couldn't get the snap off. It looked like the offensive line was miscommunicating, which I don't know that Maye was chiefly at fault for that, but anytime you don't get the snap off, obviously the quarterback's a part of it. So he did miss a couple throws, too. It was, there was a lot going on, I guess would be the best way to say it.
Alex, you said the protection in front of him was better. Was it the same alignment they've been using?
No, it was a different line. So, one, he had a better center. Nick Leverett, who'd been repping with the top offense while David Andrews was out, he was back with that group. Caden Wallace has been with that group. I think he's a better tackle than Vidarian Lowe, but he was repping with Drake Maye today. There were some other backups in there, but really the true backups had been with the top offense because so many guys were hurt, and you had some guys come back today. So, no, it was a different group, and I think a better group in front of him is part of the reason that he was able to get more comfortable.
Okay, outside of how they're playing, does it still not feel like a competition to you? Is it clear that Brissett's the guy with the ones, Maye's the understudy? It's Brissett's team. That's what how Bedard has been putting it. That if it's not Brissett's team right now, it's really close to being Brissett's team. Do you have the same read on that, and did it feel that same way today?
Yeah, absolutely. It didn't feel like this wasn't like, remember the Giants practice in 2021 where we were like, oh, Mac Jones, here it is. It didn't feel like that. Drake made a solid practice, but so did Jacoby Brissett. The team's still gravitating towards him. He still feels like the leader. We're not getting close to that quarterback competition quite yet.
Do you think there should be?
Not yet. I mean, we haven't even seen him in a game. You know, if he comes out and really slings it on Thursday and then has a good week next week, I think we start having that conversation, but we're still at least a week away from entering that territory.
Okay, so Mayo said that Drake Maye will play on Thursday. What do you suspect that's going to look like?
I think Jacoby Brissett's going to start. Mayo said, actually, Jacoby Brissett's going to start. I can't imagine he gets more than 2 or 3 drives. So Drake Maye late in the first, maybe to early in the second. He gets the whole second quarter. And then I think it comes down to how well the pass protection's doing. If they're able to block for him, there is value in having him go to the half, meet with the coaches, make the adjustments, come back out, get the first drive of the third quarter, and execute that. And I think that's what they'd like to do. But if they can't get it blocked, they're not going to leave him out there to get killed, and then it's Bailey Zappi or Joe Milton to start the second half.
Okay. Give me that first thing. Let's see Drake Maye. Can we please?
Absolutely.
Oh, I would love to see that.
I mean,
that's the whole reason for watching, if you ask me, in the week. Well, not the whole reason, but a good chunk of it.
But, most of us haven't seen him. We're just basically going on what all the Barth and, Bedards and these guys who are down there every day, what they're saying, or Beetle and so, so, like, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it. Do you think fans are going to be disappointed with what they see, Alex? Do you think Friday we're going to get a lot of calls saying, oh, my God, we drafted the wrong guy?
It's possible. If the pass protection goes back to what it was the last few days and he's flustered like he was the early part of last week, I think a lot of people are going to be worried. If he gets the protection he did today, he's going to impress a lot of people because it sounds like Carolina's playing nobody. He's going to be going against guys that won't be in the league, and he should be able to put numbers up on a defense like that.
Can I give you my answer to that question?
Yeah.
Will we get the calls?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just say that because the initial impression down there, the first couple days, the guys covering the team down there are like, oh, boy, he's not close. And like Holly went down there and said it was terrible. So my sense is that now that all the observers have settled in, they know what to expect from Drake Maye. And so it's sort of the terrible thing has been sort of smoothed out and moderated because they know where he's at. It's understood he's more of a project. Understood he's not going to be ready day one. So his poor play on day 8, it doesn't have the impact. But now for the rest of us, we're coming in fresh. And I just have this feeling that, we're going to get our first impression of it and it's not going to be good. Like,
yeah, Felger, he sucks.
I just wonder about that. All right, Alex.
I think it's fair.
Okay. Anything else that we're missing?
I think that was pretty much it from today. Really, the last 2 days have been them getting game ready. We saw 11-on-11 live tackling yesterday, which I don't remember the last time I saw that in a Patriots camp. They've done 1-on-1, but not 11-on-11. There's been a lot of emphasis the last 2 days on getting this team ready for a game. So I think there may be a little more energy coming out than there would be for a typical preseason game. Yeah, take that for whatever it's worth.
There should be. I remember Belichick's first preseason game. It was the Hall of Fame game in Canton. And that wasn't a good team, and they didn't have a good year, so it didn't mean anything. But I definitely remember, because I covered the last year under Pete Carroll and obviously when Bill took over. And I remember how they came out in that game. They played San Francisco, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And I could just tell how they lined up, like how they broke the huddle and lined up, that they were all sort of on their game. And I could just tell, like right away, that there was more discipline there. There was a sharper focus. And again, they sucked and didn't mount anything. But I do remember how they just simply broke the huddle that first preseason game. And I'm curious if we just see it, a lot of energy put into a new staff and a new thing, and are we going to feel that in any way, shape, or form on Thursday night? I hope so. I think it would be a good sign. All right, Alex, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
See you, Alex.
Okay, Alex
Later,
Barth
Alex.
there.
Bye.
So that's it on Drake Maye. And your thoughts on Brandon Aiyuk? You got a thought here, Mazz?
No. That's what I was hoping for.
So, not quite that from Alex Barth, but apparently Drake Maye threw some beauties today. What does it mean? Apparently nothing, because there still is no quarterback competition.
No backflip after
Where's
that.
Volan and Coward? Those two.
Yeah.
Capella's up here eating already. So he's probably Volan's probably inside eating. Nice throw,
this?
Milton. Jesus.
Apparently not so keen on Joe Milton's day.
Nice throw,
this?
Milton.
Anyway.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.